Welcome to the Deep Dive. We sift through stacks of sources to bring you the most fascinating insights and knowledge.
And today, we're tackling a natural phenomenon that honestly sounds like something straight out of a horror story.
It really does. We're talking about the Machineel tree.
A plant so toxic, just being near it can be a problem. Like standing under it in the rain, that can actually burn your skin. Seriously.
Exactly. Often called the world's most dangerous tree. And in this deep dive, we're going to figure out why. Why does this, fairly normal-looking tree get called the tree of death?
We'll dig into the dangers, which are pretty surprising, and maybe even more surprisingly, some historical uses too. Right.
The goal here is to help you understand some of nature's hidden and sometimes pretty dangerous secrets.
Okay, so when you think deadly plant, you probably imagine, huge thorns, maybe weird colors, something that screams stay away.
Rare, like a spiky cactus or some kind of obviously venomous vine, something intimidating.
But the Machineel, it doesn't look like that at all. It actually looks quite inviting.
Inviting?
How so?
Well, it has these nice glossy green leaves, and it produces this small fruit that apparently smells quite sweet. Looks a bit like a small apple.
Okay, that's deceptive.
And that's the point. That's its most dangerous trick, really. Its innards and appearance is, it's basically a trap, which is why knowing about it is so important for you.
So what do locals call it, besides dangerous?
Oh, they have names that leave you in no doubt. In the Caribbean, you'll hear it called the tree of death. Plain and simple.
Tree of death. Doesn't get much clearer than that.
And that little green fruit, the one that looks like an apple, it's sometimes called the beach apple.
Beach apple sounds nice, too nice.
Exactly. Or, more accurately, manzanita de la muerte.
Which translates to...
Little apple of death.
Little apple of death. Okay, got it. So, just how bad is this fruit?
Our sources are pretty clear on this. Just one bite, even a small one, can cause horrific problems.
Like what kind of problems? Severe burning in the mouth and throat, swelling that can block your airway, internal bleeding.
Wow.
And yes, potentially death. It's incredibly potent.
So a tree that looks welcoming but hides this inside, it really makes you question how we judge safety in nature, doesn't it? Based purely on looks.
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
Our instincts can be way off. And here's where it gets, even more interesting.
More interesting than the little apple of death. Go on.
The danger isn't just the fruit. It's the entire tree.
Yeah.
Every single part of it is toxic.
The whole thing. Leaves, bark, everything.
Everything, especially the sap. It's this milky white sap, and it's loaded with a nasty cocktail of chemicals.
Okay, what kind of chemicals are we talking about?
The main culprits are things called 4-bol esters. These are extremely irritating to human skin and mucous membranes. Extremely.
So contact with the sap is the big issue then?
Yes, but contact can happen in ways you wouldn't even think of.
Like what?
Well, obviously breaking a twig or a leaf will release the sap, but just brushing against the bark can be enough to cause a reaction.
A reaction like itching? Or worse?
Oh, much worse. Blistering. Serious painful blisters. And remember what I said about the rain?
Yeah, that you could get burned just standing under it in the rain. How does that even work?
The rainwater washes the sap off the leaves and bark. And this diluted sap raining down on you is still potent enough to cause severe skin reactions. Blistering, rashes.
That's incredible. So you can't even take shelter under it?
Absolutely not. Probably one of the worst places to shelter. And then there's burning it.
Let me guess. Bad idea.
Huge mistake. If you try to burn Machineel wood, the smoke is incredibly hazardous.
Hazardous how? Like irritated?
It can cause severe eye inflammation, even temporary blindness if you get smoke in your eyes. And inhaling it, that can lead to serious respiratory problems, laryngitis, bronchitis.
Good grief. So you can't touch it, you can't stand under it in the rain, and you definitely can't burn it.
Right. In some places, using it as firewood is actually banned for safety reasons.
I can see why. It's like the danger radiates from it, even into the air around it.
Exactly. It underlines the need for extreme caution. It's not just about not eating the fruit, it's about avoiding the tree altogether.
This sounds like a botanical nightmare. So where does this nightmare tree actually grow for, practical avoidance purposes?
Good question. You need to know this, especially if you're traveling to certain areas.
Okay, lay it on us. Where are the hot spots?
It's natives to tropical regions in the Americas. Think the Caribbean islands, Florida, Central America, and the northern parts of South America.
And where specifically in those regions? Does it have a preferred spot?
Yes, it often grows near the coast. Coastal mangroves, sandy beaches, brackish swamps. That's its typical habitat.
So exactly where tourists might be likely to go for sun and sand.
Precisely, which is why awareness is key. You might be looking for shade on a beautiful beach and inadvertently choose a Machineel.
Is there anything done to warn people? Signs, markings?
Thankfully, yes. In many tourist areas, you'll often find these trees marked, maybe with a red X painted on the trunk, or sometimes there are explicit warning signs nearby.
But people still get too close sometimes.
Unfortunately, yes. Either they don't see the signs, or they don't understand the danger, the shade is tempting, or maybe they see the fruit and, well, curiosity gets the better of them.
That beach apple again. So the key takeaway for you listening is, if you're on a tropical beach, especially in the Caribbean or Central America, and you see a tree that looks a bit like an apple tree, maybe even with warning paint,
Just stay away. Find shade elsewhere. That seemingly perfect shady spot could be a really bad choice. Don't touch it, don't sit under it, definitely don't eat the fruit.
okay, this seems almost unbelievable. A tree this dangerous. Did it have any uses at all? It feels like such a paradox.
It does, doesn't it? But yes, quite fascinatingly, it did. Indigenous peoples, particularly in the Caribbean, knew about the tree's toxicity for centuries.
And they found ways to use it, carefully, I assume.
Extremely carefully. Our sources indicate they developed methods to handle it. For instance, there's evidence they used the sap very cautiously for certain medicinal purposes, maybe treating specific ailments where the controlled toxicity was somehow beneficial, though details are often sparse.
Wow. Medicine from something so deadly. What else?
Weapons. The sap was famously used to poison the tips of arrows for hunting and warfare.
Poison arrows. Okay, that makes a grim kind of sense.
And there's one particularly striking historical account, though. Like many such accounts, you have to take it with a grain of salt. But it's reported that the Carib people sometimes used the sap to poison the water sources of their enemies.
Poisoning water supplies. That's biological warfare, using a tree.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
A natural weapon. It shows an incredible, if rather terrifying, understanding of the tree's properties.
It really highlights the ingenuity and maybe the desperation sometimes of ancient cultures, doesn't it? Figuring out how to handle something so dangerous.
Absolutely. It speaks volumes about their deep ecological knowledge, learned over generations. They understood the risks, but also saw potential where we might only see danger. They didn't just avoid it, they learned to interact with it on their own terms, however risky.
So wrapping this up, the core message for you today seems pretty clear. Nature isn't always what it seems on the surface.
Not at all. That friendly-looking tree might be anything but, especially when you're in unfamiliar territory, like tropical beaches or forests. Caution is key.
Yeah, exercise extreme caution with plants you don't recognize.
And it leaves you with a thought, doesn't it? How does something like the Machineel challenge our basic instincts about safety in the wild?
That idea that green and leafy equals safe or fruit equals food, this tree just blows that apart.
Exactly. What does it teach us about looking past the superficial? About, not just trusting our first glance.
It's a potent reminder for sure. Stay curious about the world around you.
But stay cautious too. Always respect the power and sometimes the hidden dangers of nature.
We hope this deep dive has shed some light on one of nature's most intriguing and perilous creations.